wanted to talk to you guys about leading with integrity. I'm not here to tell you how to do that because I feel like we all know how to do it. A lot of us are at the end of our reign as SJ president or whatever office you hold, and after a while we kind of get jaded. We might forget how to do that and the best ways to do that. So my goal today is to plant some seeds in your brain and just inspire you to finish strong as a leader and kind of rediscover these concepts as you complete your reign. So I had a poll everywhere. I'm not going to do it because I know we're limited on time, but I want you to turn to the person next to you in a little group or whatever. I'm going to give you 45 seconds, and what I want you to do is come up with a quick definition of integrity, and then I'm going to want a few people to shout them out. So, ready, set, go.
I said being true to yourself while remaining honest with others.
Okay, let's wrap it up. I would like just a few groups to kind of share with the group what you kind of came up with as your definition of integrity. Rand? Doing what is right and true when nobody's looking. That sounds like a common theme, okay. But
having your outward intentions and actions match your moral values and ethics.
Excellent. One more. Jordan has had her hand the entire time. I got her phone.
Leading with honesty and honor in line with your values.
Love it. Those are all awesome. Side note, John Myers sends his love. He helped me with this presentation, so hi. So that's my poll, which we're not doing. So this is the textbook definition of integrity. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. I'm all about the definition within the definition, so I was like, well, moral principles. So moral principles are the principles of right and wrong that are accepted by an individual or a social group. So that's where we get kind of stuck, because we all have individual moral principles, but we also kind of serve the greater good as our SJ leaders, and we have to kind of take into account the social group or the group that we're leading and what those moral principles might be. So that's where the conflict comes in, and where it's really important to figure out what kind of a leader you want to be and who you're representing. So I'm all about quotes. I love quotes and inspiring quotes, and so I've got a couple for you to kick things off. Of course, Nelson Mandela, a good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Integrity really requires you to use both of those to the best of your ability. So I really like, obviously coming from an influential leader, this is a really great quote for us to keep in mind. And of course, Oprah Winfrey. This goes along with what Brian said. Real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. So let's soak in for just a minute. Because that's kind of the crux of what we're doing. I know all of us do so much behind the scenes, and we don't necessarily get recognition. Maybe we want it, maybe we don't want it, but we all know how much work we do, and not a lot of people recognize it. So part of it is realizing, inwardly, that you're doing the right thing, and not necessarily, wanting recognition for it. So nobody's gonna know whether you did it or not, but you did the right thing anyways. So I really want to plant kind of 3 questions in your head, or 3 general themes that I want you to kind of think about. First this is really cool. I'll just briefly go over this and y'all will get this PowerPoint. I found this really cool graphic when I was researching for this presentation. You kind of start at the bottom, 5 levels of leadership. Kind of figure out where you are on this chart. You kind of start at the bottom, you just get elected, people follow you because they have to. Number 2, permission, people follow because they want to. So you're starting to build that trust, you're starting to build the relationship. 3 is production, people follow you because of what you've done for your organization. 4 is people development, people follow because of what you've done for them. And top level, the pinnacle and the best type of leader is people follow you because of who you are and what you represent. And to me, a strong sense of integrity is required to jump these levels. So keep that in mind. People recognize that integrity, and that's how you're going to work your way up. So that's cool. I'll move on. Here's my 3 themes. What do you think or do when no one is around? Me and John did a little research on social behavior. Big Brother Eyes. So they did this project, and I can't remember. It was just a big office, and they had coffee machines, and they asked people to donate to help keep the fund going for the coffee and the grounds and filters and all that kind of stuff. So they put up a picture of a big eyeball on for 1 week, and then the next week they put a picture of I think it was landscape or something. And the amount of donations when there was an eye there looking at you was like 7 times more. I thought that was really interesting. And so it's just a perception of, someone's watching you, but maybe they're not. And so it kind of just drills into that fact of like, someone's always watching you. Those things you do behind the scenes are recognized. And whether somebody tells you or not, you're going to do the right thing because you just sense that people know what you're doing. The other one was kind of cute. It was these little kids. And I think it was like, they're in this playroom, and they kind of like had something that they could steal or not. And the little kids that they told there was an invisible princess watching them, like way less likely to steal from their fellow toddler or whatever. So that was kind of cute. I like the little invisible princess concept. It's like, so we're like pediatricians. We're like, hey, princess. So, question number 2. What are your intentions? I think we lose a lot of this as we go through our medical school, so I'm really just going to give you a few questions for you to, individually reflect on. Why did you apply to medical school? Why did you run for student government? And with those 2 questions in mind, think about how much more your decisions mean when the outcome benefits others as well as yourself. And that kind of goes back to your moral principles and who's first. Is it your moral principles or is it your organization's moral principles? I don't want to install it. So, question number 3. Are your actions reflective of the values of your organization? Think about the COSGP pledge, or the oath that we took on the first day. Are you upholding that, not just while you're here, but when you go back to your schools? And of course, the AOA Osteopathic Pledge of Commitment, which is what we recite at, hopefully most of us, I think, recited at your white coat ceremony. I went back and read that, and I hadn't obviously read it since my white coat ceremony. And it was really interesting to kind of reread it now that I'm, on rotations. And it's just a really nice kind of reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, just a few quick points. The strongest leaders aren't always the loudest ones. Do good deeds and tackle difficult issues. Not because people might acknowledge your efforts, but because it's what you do regardless. So leaders of today with integrity, we've seen a few of them in previous PowerPoint presentations. But what I kind of found a quote from someone that said something nice about the leader. So it's just kind of neat to see what other people said and maybe what we want people to say about us someday. So of course, Nelson Mandela, he was consumed by this passion to serve because he believed that a leader exists for the sake of the led, not for self-aggrandizement, I can't say that, or self-promotion. It's a difficult word, it's really long. Of course, Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King became a different kind of hero. Someone who showed that when we try to discover a just way, the world does not tumble down. 2 minutes. I'm going to let you guys read that one because I really want to get to the next slide. Malala Yousafzai, she is a Nobel Peace Prize winner this year, if you're not aware of who she is. She's a Pakistani teenager who fought for equal education rights for girls in her country. And I watched her her speech, and this was, hopefully audio plays, and if not, you can watch it later. It was just a quick little, inspiring thing that she said. Oh. We're going to try it this way. That's okay. I highly encourage you to watch it.
Next time I stood up for my rights and I said that I will...
I'll start over. Oh, geez. Okay, we're good. Start it over. Okay, here we go.
And you all may know that in Swat there was Talibanization, and because of that, no girl was allowed to go to school. At that time, I stood up for my rights and I said that I will speak up. I did not wait for someone else. I had really 2 options. One was not to speak and wait to be killed. And the second was to speak up and then be killed. And I chose the second one.
He's a teenager. I mean,